The Tim and Tony podcast is brought to you by. So Bucked Up. Tell the good people about them, Tim.
Okay, so here's the deal. A lot of my friends who have been asking me about Bucked Up since we got the sponsorship told me, Tim, when I get a pre-workout, it feels like I'm a meth head on Mountain Dew. And I will assert, as I've tried many other brands, that is the case generally. Not the case with Bucked Up.
No.
And particularly not the case with this little product that I just started using. It's called Heat Hardcore. I started using it because I started a cut yesterday.
Oh,
trying to get in shape for going to Mexico in August. So we're very excited.
Oh, okay.
So for all of you who are looking to get into your Mexico body shape, Heat is a good pre-workout substitute. It's only got like 150 milligrams of caffeine. It helps you burn off fat really nice. Or just going for the traditional pre-workout where they have a bunch of delicious flavors. I have a huge ass stack next to me.
The chai spice is incredible.
Yep. Oh, and there's another product of theirs that I didn't try until I was sent it. Is those racked BCAs are
Oh my God.
life-changing. Those are awesome.
So the rack BCAs are fantastic. I've taken some other BCAs and like I know I took them, but I didn't feel them. This one, I feel like I could cure cancer. Disclaimer, you can't, but you feel like you could. The Pumpocalypse, oh boy. And if you use that in conjunction with the pre, you're going to have a fun workout. So that's to say, there are plenty of options at Bucked Up Fruities, and we're not even talking yet about the protein and the meal replacement protein. Both of those are very, very delicious and lean. So, Tim, why don't you tell us about that promo code?
Promo code. Again, go to buckedup.com. You can only use this online. You cannot use this at any in-store location. Go online to buckedup.com. The promo code is TNT20. That's spelled TANDT20 for 20% off your entire order. You can order one product. You can order 50 products. It's 20% off the whole damn thing. So go to buckedup.com today and let's start working towards those Mexico bodies.
Yeah. Use those supplements. It'll change your workout, change your life like it did us. So let's talk about Tidal, Tim. Why do we love Tidal so much?
I've got a Tidal sweatshirt on right now, and it is by far the most comfortable thing that I own in my entire closet. I absolutely love this hoodie that I have on, and they make the most comfortable gym attire that I've ever worn, frankly. Tried out a lot of brands. We're not going to name them on here, but you know who they are.
Absolutely.
And these guys make by far not only the most comfortable feeling clothing, they make the best looking clothing. They make you feel like a fucking badass in these things because they're perfectly tapered to make you feel very confident.
And I mean, if we can feel like badasses, that's pretty impressive. So y'all need to buy the stuff. I've got a hoodie. I've got a sleeveless hoodie that is just as douchey as it sounds, but fuck, is it comfortable? Their shirts are, like Tim said, perfectly tapered. The shorts are incredible. So, you got to buy the stuff. And here's the thing, though, Tim. Why don't you tell them about that promo code?
Okay, so on Tidal.com, that is spelled TYDAL.com. Use the promo code TAND15. That is TAND15 for 15% off your next order.
Off the whole store. Like, you can get all their stuff. You can literally buy the entire stock of their website, and you can get 15% off of all of that. And I suggest you do that because every single item that you buy there is going to be incredible.
In a crowded room, somewhere in town.
So Tim, what have you been doing the last couple hours?
If I was not at home living with my parents in a house where there are 4 other human beings asleep,
Right.
I would just be screaming uncontrollably
As I was.
out of pure excitement, happiness, and joy.
It's this is 11 years in the making. We
have to do that.
We have gone through starting fives of some of the worst. Just like you know how at the beginning of the games they give you the starting lineup and you see 1 through 5 who you guys got. We've sat through ones where it's like Brandon Knight, Marquise Chris, Josh Jackson, and Dragon Bender. We just witnessed something that has never happened before. We just witnessed LeBron James get eliminated in the first round of the National Basketball Association playoffs. And the team that did it was the team from Phoenix. It's the team that you and I both grew up watching. As I'm sitting here rocking my old Nash jersey. Tim's got a Booker. What are they called?
T-shirts.
Well, no, they're like jerts or something, jersey shirts or some shit. Yeah. Anyways, I don't even like. Okay, everyone knows listening to this podcast, I love LeBron. Let me just take this as a moment to say, fuck the Lakers. Because with about 2 minutes left, they decided that they no longer wanted to play basketball anymore. Which, by the way, that's basically how they played this whole series, with the exception of game 3. Well, game 2 and 3. They decided that they didn't want to play basketball anymore. Devin Booker made sure that they understood that what they were doing was some shit. And he got ejected for it. And I don't think I've ever loved Devin Booker more than I currently love that man. I was looking in between the 30 seconds of when the game ended and us hitting record. I wanted to see how much a Devin Booker jersey was going to cost me. So that's where my headspace is right now. Not only am I happy because we won, but I fucking hate the Lakers. That DNA is just in me. It is to my core, and not even having my second favorite basketball player in my entire life, having him on that team, even that doesn't get that DNA away, and it never will. Go ahead.
Okay. I briefly have to do the 11 years thing.
Yes.
Because,
and by the way, cheers to that. No free ads, so I'm not going to show you what I'm drinking, but it's delicious. So cheers.
People don't understand, I think, other than maybe Timberwolves fans, in a league where over half of the teams make the playoffs.
Yeah.
We not only haven't made it in 11 years, the closest we came was being, I think, 2 games out of it in the bubble last year. Officially 2 games out.
Yeah, and we had one season, I think it was 2014, that we had a winning record, but, since the West is just way better, we weren't even close to the playoffs.
11 years. And what we dealt with during that 11 years was rampant and constant incompetence by front office.
Oh, names.
By the coaching staff.
Let's name names. Ryan McDonough. Let's name names. Lon Babby, was that that fucker's name? And most importantly, chiefly, Robert Sarver. That
I was getting there.
shit stain of an owner that we have that just continues to fleece our local governments for money. But that is not this podcast. This podcast, the Phoenix Suns, Tim.
Yeah. Okay.
Our Phoenix Suns are moving on past the Los Angeles Lakers.
The Sarver thing. I'm going to do this really quick, and then he's going to be gone because he doesn't deserve to have more than this next 30 seconds.
This is a happy podcast. Go ahead. I'll time you.
I have a lot of apologies to give out on this podcast here tonight. A lot of them. He is not one of them.
Okay.
And I want to be very clear because he showed up on the telecast last game where people were starting to do well, he's gotten a lot of crap over the years, but no. I've been here. I've watched it. I've seen it. I've seen the bullshit. Okay. He doesn't deserve any credit for this. That out of the way.
No,
that's out of the way. Okay. I have a few apologies.
That's good because I have two. I have two main ones.
My first one goes to Monty Williams.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Before he was hired, when we hired him, I said it was a bad hire. I hated it. He was bad in New Orleans.
I appreciate that you're honest.
He was bad in New Orleans. I was vocal. I absolutely hated the hiring. I didn't think he was good last year. I thought we were good in the bubble, but I thought we were overall a bad offensive team last year.
Well, we were. I mean, we by all metrics, we were. We had one good player.
And his ability to get a player like Chris Paul, who is famously a royal pain in the ass, to play along into his system, to come here and be comfortable. I don't think you can say enough nice things about Monty Williams today. That's my first apology.
Yeah. So then we'll alternate because we'll stick with non-players. I have an apology to, I think it's 5-time champion, soon to be 6, James Jones.
Yes.
He was, unbeknownst to the rest of the NBA at one point, our GM.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew how to contact him.
Nope.
They did not know that he had a secretary. They did not.
No scouting department.
We had no scouting department, which was made very evident by someone else that I'm going to owe an apology to. He went out and got, I mean, it's said to death, but he went out and he got adults. He brought in Jay Crowder. He brought in Chris Paul.
Sarge.
Yeah, he brought in Sarge. I believe it's Sharich, but it's fine. He brought in
Torrey Craig,
Langston Galloway, Torrey Craig. Monty Williams, more to his point, he resurrected Campaign, who has been, he might be the 4th most important player on this team. Maybe.
With Chris injured, I don't think there's any question.
Oh, with Chris injured, he might be the 3rd most important. But yeah, I mean, he's a top 5 impact guy for us just because of, I mean, he was pretty awful today.
Mm-hmm.
He was pretty bad. But throughout the series and throughout the season, he's been a revelation. I mean, James Jones, man, thank you. I apologize because I believe I sat on this very podcast and said how you don't know what you're doing. You don't know your ass from your elbow when it comes to building a team.
I affirmed it.
And and I said it multiple times. And within a year, this team has gone from Draymond Green telling the NBA to get Devin Booker off that team. We went from that to eliminating the defending champions. With or without Anthony Davis, they're the most talented team in the NBA, from top to bottom. Like, the Nets have a better top 3 altogether, but the Lakers have a better top 2 when healthy. And we just beat them in pretty resounding fashion, given, I mean, this game we were up by 29 at one point, and it was under 10 points for as long as it took me to nervously sprint to the bathroom. But yeah.
The thing is that even
so James Jones, I'm sorry. you have built a winner. You brought in a coach that is a winner. You brought in Chris Paul. You brought in these guys that have made me enjoy basketball in a way that I have not enjoyed it in over a decade. So thank you, and I'm sorry.
I'm gonna keep going with the James Jones thing.
Yes.
I only have 2 more. I don't want to do this the whole podcast. But
This is the whole podcast. I only have 1 more.
With that theme of James Jones, my second apology goes to Cam Johnson.
Oh,
When we drafted you, I have never made fun of a draft pick that we have made more in my life. And I probably never will, because the things I said about that human being should never be said about other people. And the things that I said about Jones for drafting him and Sarver for
allowing it to happen
were just hateful. They were reprehensible and they were terrible.
They were not on this podcast. So nothing else really needs to be said about Cam Johnson. He played incredible today. A lot of small things. He, like the one that you and I were texting back and forth about, was he missed a 3, followed up his own shot, and got a couple free throws. And
I love that guy.
Like what would have been, a fast break opportunity after a missed 3 turned into a ball stoppage with 2 free throws and 2 points. Like, those are the things that culminate success. Those are the things that lead to you beating the defending champions. But anyways, Cam Johnson, love you. The biggest apology that I currently owe to, and again, it's a fluid situation, but
it's time.
DeAndre Ayton, come on down, because I have a million different things to say about you. He wasn't much of a factor today. He didn't need to be.
I actually thought he was really good today. I mean, the couple lobs that he got from Chris, he was really good defensively. You could sense when he was out, because the Lakers were all of a sudden getting to the rim at will. I think he did a lot for us. He did a lot in this series. I'm going to let you go, but
Then you know what? Maybe I was just overreacting to every single basket, and he wasn't really scoring a lot. So maybe that was what my focus was, since I was fucking losing my mind this entire game. But he just played the best basketball on television that he's ever done. He just played at his highest level.
That was the best version of him.
Yeah,
that was the dream version of him.
Yes. If we could get that against the best front line in the NBA, like the most talented, I don't know if they're the most cohesive. I don't know if they, make sense together. There's a lot of questions as to whether Andre Drummond is actually additive as opposed to just, good stats, bad team. We don't know if he's just the big man version of Monte Ellis. But what I do know is that DeAndre Ayton came in a series where he's our only big. Frank, I love you. You're not getting an apology on this podcast. Just keep those sideline antics going on. We love you. But we have one 7-footer on the team that's worth their salary, and it's DeAndre Ayton. He came in the series undermatched. Every single person was saying this is going to be a nightmare for us. We had the advantage on the boards for most of the series. We had the advantage in the paint for most of the series. We had the physical advantage throughout this entire series, minus, some stretches in game 2 and game 3. But on the whole, that dude, I mean, through the first, I think 4 games, he missed 3 shots. And he was getting 16, 17, 18 rebounds.
He was a beast.
And he was getting offensive rebounds.
He was a beast.
He was making an impact on both sides of the floor in a way that I did not think was humanly possible for him to do.
Had I not watched it, I wouldn't have believed it, to be honest. I think for people who have not watched this team very closely and have just been looking at Ayton's stats, you can get easily fooled by his contribution this year, because he's had games where he's gone 25 and 15. But my criticism has always been it's always against teams. It's always against shitty teams. What he did in this series,
Yeah, it's against Sacramento in January.
yes. He was my last apology. So
Same here.
he's my last apology. Coming into this series, I had a million different doubts about whether we should pay him after this year because he's still a restricted free agent.
Yes.
And I think the conversation is still worthy of being had, but I'm no longer going to light my head on fire if we sign him to the max. I'm just not. He proved it. He's shown it. He's legit. I mean, when you do that in this kind of series, again, this isn't just some random first round series against the Trailblazers. Sorry, Trailblazer fans. But this is.
Are we going to do a CJ McCollum? Where's he getting traded to next?
No.
Okay.
When you put out that kind of output against a team like this, against Anthony Davis was out for essentially 3 of these games. Even in the games that Davis was in, he was playing incredibly well. Okay, and that speaks volumes about him. So he's my last apology that I owe. And
I'd just like to point out that you have an English degree and you said the phrase "put out that output." But anyways, this series was new for me. I was a child the last time the Phoenix Suns were playing important basketball games. I was a child still living at home.
And we got our ass ripped out through our mouth.
In about the most horrific way possible by this very team.
By the guy who our favorite player emulates.
Which, again, 8-year-old me is all types. 15-year-old me is all types of confused by the feelings that I have with Devin Booker because of how much he loves. Not he likes or, patterns his game after.
No.
Loves, adores, idolizes Kobe Bryant.
It's a religious obsession.
It is.
Like the tattoo thing that people were mentioning today.
Yeah.
That's not even really the tip of the iceberg with his obsession with Kobe. But yeah, go ahead.
This is so fun.
Yeah,
like it's just so fun to be playing meaningful basketball. Basketball is my favorite sport to watch. I've been spoiled fucking rotten in football, and now I'm kind of paying a penance with my guy being in Tampa. But my baseball team's still atrocious.
That's fun.
We're battling it out with Baltimore for the worst record in baseball, but this Phoenix Suns team's legit. And I don't know about you, but I think we just played the best opponent that we're going to play all playoffs.
Yes. First of all, we did. It's not close. I think the other teams in the West don't match up to the Lakers. I mean, the only team that even could kind of give us fits might be eliminated tomorrow, which is the Clippers. I want to say this. Phoenix, a lot of people don't know this. I don't even understand the mechanics of it. Phoenix is a basketball town. It always has been.
They were first.
Yes, that is true. And they got here in the 60s, I want to say, or early 70s, somewhere around there.
I want to say 1968. Here.
Yeah.
Let's get research on it.
Yeah. This fan base is one of the most tortured in the history of sports, and they don't even get the love for being tortured, which makes them more tortured in my mind. This city loves basketball, and this team is the exact kind of basketball team that's so easy to fall in love with and root for, because just this, not even just this game, the entire series, the way they play defense is beautiful. They fly around and they fight like fucking hell for each other.
So okay. they don't quite do the blitzkrieg style defense that the early Heat or that the LeBron Heat teams played. They don't have that quite athleticism, and they don't do the trapping style that they do. But the constant movement, the constant rotation,
Their rotations are amazing.
It's incredible. And
They rotate so well.
And by the way, growing up, our teams were always the worst defensive teams known to mankind. They
And
were
we
always
turned it over a bunch.
Yeah, they were
Which-
always abhorrent at defense, which was generally our downfall. That and Mike D'Antoni only played 6 guys in the playoffs and played 39-year-old Steve Nash fucking 42 minutes a game. But that's not the point, because the point is that this team right now in 2021 is playing some of the best basketball, all-around basketball that I have ever seen in my life from a Suns team. In fact, it might be the best all-around basketball that a Suns team in my lifetime has ever played.
In my lifetime, this is by far the most complete team. And this is not recency bias. I did the research. I did.
I did. I did the fuck. I watched all those fucking games. Our best players didn't play defense. They actively avoided defense. Amari Stoudemire and Steve Nash. Steve Nash is my favorite basketball player ever. I'm currently wearing his jersey. The man was not athletic enough to play defense.
And our teams, other than Nash, they weren't smart. They didn't play smart.
No.
They did stupid shit constantly. And they were aggressive in all the wrong ways.
Yeah.
This team, like, somebody goes down, there's instantly somebody else in that guy's face.
Yeah.
Which, again, we're not condoning violence on this podcast. But we are. But we are. And
Jay Crowder, I see you. I love you. You are a beautiful.
I love that
beautiful
guy.
man.
I love that guy.
He, like him and Chris Paul, they're just such shitheads, but they're my shitheads. And we never, other than like Raja Bell, we never really have shitheads. And you need shitheads.
Yeah, we had Shaq at the end.
Yeah, but he wasn't a shithead. Like he was really good. And by the time he got to us, it was, it was not Shaq.
No.
It was Shaquille O'Neal. It wasn't Shaq.
Yeah. The Chris Paul thing.
My guy, if you want me, so I'm in California right now. Chris, if you need me to drive to your house right now and just start massaging your shoulder or whatever's hurting you, if you need me, my services are available.
Both of us.
We can get, and producer Chris, I'm sure would help too. Whatever you need, you just let me know. Email us at the pod email, reach out on IG. We got you because we need you, and we need you playing much better than you did the last couple. Well, not game 5. Game 5 you played like Chris Paul, but he had some pretty not Chris Paul like plays today and in other games this series. We need him going.
We do. But the thing with him, and announcers don't often have very salient points.
Nuanced, thoughtful.
I think it was Grant Hill actually who had the point today, who was like, their offense has such a calm about them when he's out there, and he's completely correct. And this was the point that I made when I was making the case that maybe we should have sat him game 4 when he actually came back and looked great. Is that if you do that, you're taking away that element of it, where when he's on defense and he's yelling at guys where to go, and he's on offense and he's just orchestrating everything at the perfect tempo.
When he's getting in Ayton's ass about running the court.
Yeah, which, by the way, that's the best thing that's ever happened to Ayton is Chris Paul, whether he knows that or not.
Like we saw what it did to DeAndre Jordan.
It's the opposite with Ayton. And by the way, it's an older Chris.
It is.
Chris learned from what happened with DeAndre.
But I would imagine at times a more ornery Chris. I would imagine.
Maybe, but I mean,
but he doesn't scream as much, but
he kind of does.
He does. He picks his spots more.
I mean, this version of Paul, I can't, when I watch him, I can't help but think, I mean, not only how happy I am for him, but when you think about the Phoenix point guards that have been here and have not been able to win, specifically Nash, who is the all-time guy that never made the finals.
Nash, Marbury, Kevin Johnson, Jason Kidd. Well, Jason Kidd ended up in New Jersey, but you get the point.
Right. But seeing him now have a legitimate chance to make, like, very legitimate, like, it's not, I haven't looked at the odds yet. I'm not going to, because I
I
don't
don't
need
give a
that.
shit about the odds. Because here's the thing: the odds have vacillated so wildly just within this series because of how little people believe in us.
Yeah, but that's not even what I'm talking about. I mean, if you've watched basketball this year, you know this Suns team, now that they've gotten over this, we're not just getting ideas. We like have ideas. Like, the ideas are implanted.
I said at the top, we just played the best team that we're going to play in the playoffs. From top to bottom, that was the best team. Denver's not better than them. The
Not
Clippers,
even close.
the Clippers aren't better than them. Like
No,
there isn't another team in the West that's better than these guys. And now
The
that I
only
know that
thing-
DeAndre Ayton can actually play like a big boy, I'm not nearly as worried about Denver.
I'm not even going to talk about Denver, other than to say the only thing I'm worried about is them sucker punching us game one because of the letdown. It's just going to be weird not going against LeBron in that
Yeah.
environment.
Yeah.
This team, though, again, you and I are the kings of don't overreact to first round series. This is the only first round series that you're allowed to overreact to. Is if
It's not an
you have
overreaction.
is if you have 11 years of history coming into the night,
Right.
plus the LeBron James factor, plus the Lakers factor, who it's not just our lifetime. Go back into the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
These guys have always kicked our ass.
They have always handed
Always.
us our shit. And in the most important games. But it's just, I can't say it enough. This team is so fun to watch because of the guys that we have on it. Outside of Booker and CP3, there's not a lot of like blue chip guys. Like, I guess Ayton is now, sort of. He is a first overall pick, but like, other than that, I mean, Cam Payne was in, I believe, the Chinese basketball league like a year and a half, 2 years ago. Like,
he was cut from the Bulls in 2019, and they said he's not NBA caliber. Like,
yeah, the Bulls.
Like that came out. He's not NBA caliber player, and he's like you said, he's probably our fourth most important guy.
Yeah, he's, fourth or fifth on any given day. And, we had DeAndre Ayton, who was famous for taking a masking agent for steroids. We have Chris.
And for not caring enough.
Which
he has, by the way, this series, one of the reasons that he's fought through that, he is running his ass off.
He's rim running on fast breaks.
Yeah.
He looks like on those fast breaks, he looks like first 3 or 4 years Shaq on the Magic.
He's
getting first down the court. It's insanity.
He's unbelievably fast when his motor's running like that, like it is in this series. I mean, there was a series 2 games ago, game 4, where he blocked LeBron under the basket, ran the floor. Yeah. By the way, he was the furthest back of any player on the court when he blocked him. He ran the floor and dunked over 2 Lakers guys on the other side off a pass from Chris.
Yep.
That stuff should scare the living hell out of anybody that we play. Because if he is that guy, we've been saying it the whole time. Our ceiling is predicated on him. It always has been.
Because here's the thing, we've gone. I if my timer's correct, we're 34 minutes into this. We haven't even talked about the best player that was on the court today. It's because he's to the point where he's so good, and you and I have seen it. This fan base has seen it so repeatedly. Even when we were dog shit, when we were absolutely awful, we were seeing him play like this. He scored 70 against the number 1 ranked team in the East at the time, the Boston Celtics. Dropped 70 against them. And he shot 8 for 10 from 3 today. Didn't miss the first 7.
If we're going to do the Booker thing, I mean, we did apologies at the top. almost every single national NBA person should write a soliloquy that is an apology to Devin Booker.
Absolutely.
Because this is, I don't even blame the people who said this. It's a factor that happens when you're a national guy or girl and you don't watch a shitty team enough. Because I watched him, and when we were good, when we were winning, I saw him make the kind of plays. I was like, he is not Monte Ellis. He is not some selfish, chuck it up 30 times type of guy. He's just not. He's an unbelievably efficient scorer. He's really smart, which is how, again, sorry to keep knocking on Monte, was not Monte's forte. Devin is a very smart player.
Say what you want about Monte Ellis. I only mentioned him because that dude could score. That dude could score like nobody's business. Was allergic to defense, and was allergic to winning.
Yep.
But
and to making winning plays. And to shooting at
high percentage.
Yeah. All of that is true.
But Devin Booker, the first Spurs series that the Heat played against, them, I think 2012. There was like 45 seconds left, and LeBron pulled up at the right elbow, and hit a jumper to, for all intents and purposes, seal the game. LeBron knows the moment. He has awareness of when he needs to turn it on. He's one of the best. Him, Jordan, Bird, you know the list. Those guys know the moment. They know when they need to score. They know when their teammates need to score.
Devin has a little bit of it too.
Devin is starting to develop it, and it started in the bubble. It started with the famous shot that he hit, the fallback with both Kawhi and Paul George draped over him. And it's only accelerated precipitously since then. I don't even know if accelerated precipitously is a phrase, but there you go. And apparently LeBron did a jersey swap with Booker, which, that's cool. But
I didn't see that. I saw LeBron leave really early.
I got a notification. I guess they came back. He came back out and was more present on the court after the game than the last 2 minutes. But
that's good, because there was some weird stuff with Rich Paul and Chris after too. That did not look like it was a happy conversation, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm not reading into that. It just I
love the salmon jacket, Rich. That's all I'm gonna say.
It was a good look. It was a good look.
But he's got that. Like the douchebags that were talking about LeBron not having the clutch gene. That's like what they were talking about. That's what Devin has. Because he knows, like, okay, there's 3.5 minutes left. I'm now going to go down and shoot 3 straight possessions unless I can, throw a pass to a wide open Cam Johnson in the corner, or Chris Paul out on the top of the key, or DeAndre, I can throw him a lob or something. He wants the ball, and he lives for that shit. That's why he got tossed at the end. Was because the Lakers, 3 of the fucking guys stopped getting back on defense, and he went over into the corner of the Lakers bench and started screaming at their ass.
After dunking on them. That's the kind of shit the Suns really haven't ever had. Amari did a little bit of that, but he was also going against like Tim Duncan, who, I mean, are you really going to scream at Tim Duncan? No. So like Devin, and by the way, did you see the car that he drove up to the game in? I don't know that he actually drove that to the game.
They showed okay.
There was a lot of, because I believe he drove that car to the airport in Phoenix. Because
okay.
I actually looked more into this, and they don't allow players to drive to locations.
Oh, like I love it. I love it.
He would have had to have been on some sort of private charter. So that wasn't his car for all intents and purposes.
Okay. But that picture of him in the black Buick, just incredible. And I would hope that he brought his dog with him. That just absolute unit of a dog that would
Dog is awesome.
that would just maul me in
Dog
5
is
seconds.
awesome.
Just
That's
because
one
it
of the
would
coolest dogs I've ever seen.
Yeah. Anyways, this team is so exciting. And
Wait, can I do one thing on Devin?
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, see, this is an additional episode, Tim. We can do whatever the fuck we want. It's our names on the title.
It's goddamn right.
Yeah.
Devin lives to ruin people's lives. He really does. He enjoys it. Again, this is like he took all of the best parts of Kobe, which is kind of amazing. He took that. I just want to kill you. I'm not just
of the mentality thing. Okay, I was.
That's
gonna
what
say,
I mean. He took his mentality.
Slightly more athletic, but yes, I get what you're
but
saying.
he took like his best aspects, like all of that weird hero ball shit that Kobe had, where he never really quite got a feel for how the game was going in the second quarter.
Devin doesn't have it,
but he's got that "I want to embarrass you" factor to him.
Well, and there were a lot of people that were saying, and some very, very famous podcasters that I hope to get to meet and hope to get to do some stuff with, that thought that he was going to get used to losing, that when he was given the opportunity to play important games, he didn't take them. That was the knock on him, was that he was a Monte Ellis, he was a Danny Granger, he was one of those guys that just they're good, but they're never going to be impactful in a playoff way, like Rudy Gay or someone like that.
The first moment I realized that he wasn't that was when he was shouting. I can't even remember who it was at, but he was yelling, "Meet me in the tunnel," after he got tossed. And and as he's walking out, he's just calmly, he's like this. He's just like, okay. And he just runs out. He's like, yeah, no, I'm ready to kick your ass. Let me know where we need to go.
Was that like, it wasn't Ben Simmons?
No, but it showed me.
Anyways,
it showed me that he cared.
Yeah.
He wasn't just out there trying to get buckets. Like, he gave a shit. He gave a shit that he was tossed and that he was embarrassed and that he hurt his team, and he was going to fight somebody because he was frustrated with how things were going.
Yeah. I'm so happy. I'm so thankful, because my God, has it been bad. It's been dark.
Terrible.
It's been dark. There are only so many Brandon Knight highlights. And by highlights, I mean lowlights, because there's
Bledsoe.
Oh my God. Oh yeah. How do we talk about the great point guards of the Phoenix Suns and not talk about our triumvirate point guard system that we ran? How do we go through that? Goran Dragic, Isaiah Thomas, not that Isaiah Thomas, and Goran Dragic, Isaiah Thomas, and Eric Bledsoe. Like, we tried that out, and it kind of worked. And then we decided to keep the worst one. But this team is so ready. This team is so primed to make a run.
They're not scared at all.
I
mean, even in the games they were losing, they were showing they're not scared. None of the moment is not too big for any of them, not even Ayton, who I was so concerned about. No, I'm sorry.
I couldn't agree. I could not agree more.
He's not scared. He's just not. He's out there fighting his ass off, harder than I've ever seen him play before.
Yeah,
like
you're completely right about that.
None of them are going to shy away from it. Like, I don't want to do the thing before the series where I'm like, we're going to win this in 5. I'm not scared of Denver. I'm not saying we're going to steamroll them.
Yeah, I said that at the top. They don't have Jamal Murray. They've got unvaccinated Michael Porter Jr. And they've got Nikola Jokic, which, I mean, if Aiden's going to play like this, man, I mean, Jokic is about as unstoppable just by his length and by the stuff that he does, because he doesn't have to move to make those plays. He doesn't have to. He could be triple teamed and you're just going to stand with the ball up in the air and it's just not going to matter. But if we can slow him down is kind of an oxymoron, but like if Ayton can continue to play like this, yeah, that's a good way to say it. If Ayton can continue to play like this and sort of, even out whatever advantage the Nuggets would have against other teams in the paint, I mean, dude, we saw it today. We've got a bunch of dogs that are going to run through your face, in the words of Marshawn Lynch. We've got guys that are going to hit shots. We've got guys that are going to play hard on defense. And we've got a lot of talent. Like Cam Johnson is here to play basketball and make shots. That dude is lethal from the court. Mikal Bridges played great this series. We are deep. And it's incredible because, again, like I said before, Mike D'Antoni only played 6 fucking guys, and that always was our downfall. We're deep.
Yeah, so I'm probably going to wrap up on this.
Yeah.
This series in general felt like an exorcism.
Oh, my God.
It really did.
Yeah.
It really did. Because if we would have lost, we would have both sunk into what we know as Suns fans, which is to bitch and to moan.
Just, oh God.
And
okay,
to talk about trading every single player.
Yeah, I was just going to say, okay, so Chris Paul's going to opt in.
He's already opted out.
Oh, he's already opted out. Fuck.
Yeah, that was the notification a few days ago.
Okay.
So that's something we got to deal with later.
Okay. So whatever. So, whatever happens with Chris Paul is what happens with Chris Paul. I love him. I hope he stays. If he continues to play like this, he's incredible.
He's welcome to stay.
Welcome to stay. But like, if we lost, we're overpaying either Mikal Bridges or DeAndre Ayton. The other one's walking. And we'd end up making the wrong decision. Whichever two is worse, that's who we'd end up keeping.
Yep.
And then Booker would have requested a trade within 6 months. That's what we'd be talking about right now. But hey, and I'm just gonna end on this. Somebody needs to get Steph Curry out of there, man. Draymond Green, you can go fuck yourself. Because here's the thing. You are sitting in a studio. You're sitting in a studio talking about this game. Because you are not that good at basketball. You're playing on some of the greatest teams ever assembled, not because of you. So, Draymond, why don't you make sure your own house is set before you start talking about other people's?
I'm good with ending on that.
And of course, it's not a Tim and Tony pod without, I'm going to hand out a Ted Cruz Award. It's going to be Draymond Green. Congratulations.
Mine's Chris Haynes.
Quick.
For having the balls after Devin's biggest game of his career, Game 5, to ask about a nothing event that happened 3 years ago.
With Joakim Noah shouting at him.
That nobody cares about anymore.
Yeah. I was really hoping, because Chris Haynes who was doing the sideline reporting after the game and interviewed Booker at the end of the game. I was hoping after Chris Haynes' first, awful ass question, like, how does it feel? That question, which, by the way, TNT, ABC, our services are available. We can be much more creative than how does
we'll do it for free.
Yeah, we'll do it for free. We just need to be able to shout out the sponsors and the pod. That's it. Like, I can think of a much more interesting question than how does it feel to win the Super Bowl, Tom Brady?
Yep. It's the first one out of every one of their motherfucking mouths.
You just won. You just beat the defending champs. How do you feel? What did it take to do it? What were you guys thinking when this happened? No, fuck that. But Chris Haynes, what I was hoping Devin Booker was going to do, I was hoping he was going to be like, oh yeah, Chris, by the way, did you see how I did with double teams today? I think I did pretty well. Talk to you later, bro. And just walk away. That's all.
Best thing about Devin is that he's not like KD in that way. He's like looks at Chris Haynes and he's like, I don't give a shit about you or what you have to say.
Yeah, no, Devin doesn't strike me as a guy with burner accounts. But anyways,
he just doesn't care. Like
Anyways.
legitimately, not fake, doesn't care.
anyways, Draymond, the day that you retire is going to be a day that I pop champagne, just like Russell Westbrook, for completely different reasons. But Draymond, and by the way, your suit that you wore, I think it was yesterday, was
Terrible.
an abomination.
Terrible. Just
It was
awful.
an absolute abomination. You should be ashamed of yourself. But
It's
anyways,
actually, yeah.
Draymond Green, Chris Haynes, go fuck yourself. And of course, I'm not gonna. I'm not. I give the people what they want. Ted Cruz, please go fuck yourself. This has been the Tim and Tony podcast. Emergency Suns advancing to the second round edition. Let's go.
One day, someday, fiction girl. She's my one day, someday. She's my one day, someday. Gotta have her, gonna call her baby. One day, someday. She's gonna call me baby, gonna have a family. I can see it in her eyes. Our future's so bright. Gonna wake up by his side. One day, someday. She's my one day, someday. Fiction girl. She's my one day, someday.